Hello everyone and welcome back to, this is actually Florida Aviation Network coming to you live and in the clear from the 52nd annual Red, White and Blue 52 at FUN from the Central Florida Aerospace Academy. And we have the pleasure of always talking to innovative, new, some young, some older or senior folks. And it's always, this is the second, maybe the third time we've spoken to our guest here, and we're always glad to have her back because she's so pleasant. And I'm going to welcome us, Adriana Barragan. Adriana, welcome.
Thank you, Ben. Thank you, Ben. It's great to be back at FUN.
And are you having fun?
I am, and that was my mission number one this week. Have fun, tons of it. I even made a note to make sure, to balance all the activities that we have this week with fun.
And so, Adriana, you're at FlyORKA.
Yes.
Explain to us where this came about, and you are the founder of FlyORKA, is that correct?
Yeah, that's right.
That means you came up with it, you started it, you did it. And what is FlyORKA?
Yes, well, there is a whole founding team behind this. And so orca is actually a Swedish word that means to be able to have the energy to do something well. And FlyORKA, in a way, means to be able to bring that into the cockpit when you go fly, and to go through the path that will allow you to expand your capabilities to be able to do something that in the future and to do it well.
You have an interesting past. You really do, Adriana. You were a flight test engineer.
That's right.
And tell us a little bit about your experience with that, with flight testing. You learn a lot about yourself, I'm sure.
Yes.
But a lot about the industry and what you're trying to give back as far as the flight training, training in the industry.
Yeah. So at the time when I was on the path and doing flight test, I was also within the flight training environment, and I could see the patterns and the similarities across both. And the most important concept to take away is that flight training is not a straight line, it's a loop. And that loop is very easy to see in flight test. But it's not so much the case in flight training.
And it's not straight line, it is a loop.
It's a loop.
You continually improve.
Right, yes.
You learn, it comes around, it comes back, and you do it again, and it gets,
right.
You should get better and better and better and better.
Yes, it's about you are improving, you are pushing your envelope, you are expanding your capabilities, you are becoming a better product. And this loop for those, we start in flight test, we start from the certification requirements, we look at, what should the aircraft be able to do, right? Then we take that and sit down with it to think about how are we going to go about it, and that's where the strategic thinking begins, which is all about the planning of how are we going to go about it. We refer to that as a flight test campaign or a program, or where we lay down the plan, where we are going to allocate our efforts, our budget efficiently to make sure that we go on to check all the things that we need to check, right? And we go execute, we go fly, but most importantly, everything goes back to engineering, the people that are backing the product, because we want to we want to confirm, we want to know if, it will be it will be pointless to go test without documenting the merits of the product, any issues with the product, and any recommended fixes.
And your flight experience, what type of flight experience do you have?
Yeah, well, I am a flight instructor. I used to do tailwheel endorsements. I am now full-time working as a founder. And I love soaring, as you know. Last year I got my diamond badge on a glider that actually won the World Championships in Germany in 1989. The world champion who flew that let me have the glider for a whole year. Ooh. And I ended up making 33 flight records on his glider. I also ended up making my first landings at farmers' fields, and thankfully without scratching his airplane, because I was very very compelled that this champion was letting me have his baby, that they won the worlds together, and
it's very nervous. It's very nervous when you're flying somebody else's machine.
Like something that is a piece of such an important piece. Yeah, he bought it back because he won the worlds on that. But I mean, overall, like I love light airplanes, and it's teaching. Well, I enjoy that as well.
In aeronautical decision making, when you decided that you weren't able to make it back to the strip,
yeah, decision
I'm going to have
making.
to put it down. You got to make a decision.
Yes.
And you did forced landing, off airport landing.
Yeah, and soaring is great actually for engineers. There are a lot of engineers in the sport because it's all about strategic thinking, making decisions, constantly, and finding opportunities too, right?
Adriana, where's home base for you? Where are you based?
Well, I was born in Mexico. I am now based in Savannah, Georgia. Okay. And I am moving across. Like I am now moving a lot, working on the product, and So, but home base is East Coast and
Savannah.
Yeah.
And training efficiency. That's something that we don't hear that term a lot, as far as being efficient in your training philosophy and your actual the processes that you use, and you use systems. And explain to us a little bit about the system that you use at ORCA.
Okay. Well, what we are doing, first of all, is making the process visible. So what we've done is obviously looked at all the challenges we have in flight training, and map the process to make it visible by identifying the key steps that have to be completed. Mm-hmm. And we are doing that with an app. Mm-hmm. That where your mission is to keep the loop continuous. Mm-hmm. And to fly it again and again and again. And in this case, in the app, students and flight instructors, their role is to fly the loop. Mm-hmm. And if you are a flight instructor, your role is also to lead, to take leadership, to lead the loop. And if you are a flight school, your role in the product, in the lab, is to keep it visible. Mm-hmm. So that everybody can see it. So what we're doing is, I was teaching a class and I was asking everybody, from where do we get this idea that hustling and grinding is the solution to our problems?
Hustling and grinding.
That victory is for those that go through the grind. Yep. From where do we get this idea, right?
It's not always easy.
I mean, it works for some people. Mm-hmm. I mean, it doesn't really, they may be burned out at the end, mm-hmm. but maybe it works for some people. And we love storytelling, when somebody has a victory, mm-hmm. after all the grind and all that. I mean, I'm all about resiliency, and that's great. But having a system, we live in times where of information and connectivity, and we can take advantage of that and gain more from our efforts.
And the app, explain to us about the app. It's on your application, your apps. I guess it's FlyORKA
Yes.
app.
Yeah.
And I will load this up after we finish our program here. But I want to learn more about, because the term training efficiency is very important to me. I want to learn more about that and how you have developed that, and what we're going to be doing to go to the next step. You're the founder.
Yes.
Where do you want to take this in the future? How far do you want to take this?
Well, this is certainly my vocation. I am here for the long run, and as you can see, we started this journey several years ago. I started this journey. Actually, I quit my former flight test career. I was on that path to have a career in flight test. That was my passion and biggest vocation, to make this look visible, because I don't know about you, but I am somebody, I may have OCD or something, but I can't stand waste. When I see waste, when I see wasted food, wasted effort, waste here and there, I can see it and I can't stand it. And I could see very, very clearly that more and more pilots were wanted to join flight training. But at the same time, I was seeing all these hundreds of millions being wasted in flight training that actually stagnates, and and where all these aspiring people don't finish. So that was a pivotal point in my life when I decided to change what I was doing with my life. So and it's right for me, and you never know what you will end up doing. I never thought I was going to be doing this, and even overcoming my difficulties to speak and be able to bring this.
You're doing well.
Right.
You're an active instructor. You're
Yes.
a CFI.
Yes. Yes. Well, now this is like I work on this every day, and so I'm selling the LOSCOM I used to use for tailwheel airplanes.
What were you flying? What tailwheel aircraft were you flying?
I was teaching private PPL and doing tailwheel endorsements on a LOSCOM.
LOSCOM.
Yeah.
That's a nifty, frisky little airplane.
Well, it's great for training because it's an honest airplane, and if you don't have the right technique, it will let you know. It will not. Yes, and that's why I think it makes a great training platform, so that you really develop the skill.
And we call it stick and rudder, and
Yeah.
that's the beautiful part about the LOSCOM is you do have a control stick dual side by side. And not the typical yoke that comes in and out. But do you prefer flying a control stick as opposed to a yoke?
Absolutely, yes. Yeah.
Good.
100%.
Good. What are the aircraft other than LOSCOM are you guys using? Are there other aircraft that you're using?
Well, FlyORKA is not a flight training provider. We don't provide flight training. I was doing that because I obviously love teaching. I enjoy that. And I was also using my own training as a platform to use the products we were developing. And also to prove that, yes, we can train efficiently. My benchmark, like most of my students, were ready for their PPL in about 46 hours. And I can prove that, with a variety of demographics. And so for me, that was this period of where, okay, I am going to be involved as a flight school, as a flight instructor, and also as a student, because I was a student of soaring. I was new into soaring, right? So I was also expanding my capabilities. So this was for me a space to put all these ideas in play, test them, iterate and improve them.
What part of Mexico do you fly out of?
Well,
Now you're in Savannah, but,
in Savannah.
But in Mexico, where did you fly in Mexico? I'm just curious.
Well, unfortunately, I'm not, like in Mexico, I actually got my private pilot before I got to get my aerospace engineering degree. And that was a while ago, even though I don't look that old. That was a while ago, and that was in Guadalajara.
Okay.
That's where I first learned to fly.
Yeah, I have some friends in Guadalajara.
Yeah.
And they spend time between Cancun, Cozumel, and Guadalajara.
Right.
And I think they have places in Puerto Vallarta. That's beautiful, beautiful area there.
Yeah, absolutely.
There's some areas that you have to be careful. But other than that, it's the mountains in Guadalajara are beautiful. And what is the next? What is the next thing that you're wanting to accomplish in your career? Because it's very refreshing to see young folks looking for the efficiencies. And
Yeah.
yes, you probably do have OCD.
But it's a good thing, right? When it's like
It's a good place to have
when
OCD.
it's channeled in the right way, right?
Sure.
Yeah, I've been channeling that into one problem. Well, for me, I want to see this working. So, as an engineer, you know, it's like if you're designing a system or an engine, you want to improve its efficiency, right? And I think that's seeing it in play as a system in play, plugging that into any environment without changing or breaking anything, but by just bringing that in and helping everyone improve with something they can see and understand.
And using the building block
Right. Yes.
principles of,
Yes.
and again, putting it back in your system, your control loop, if you will.
Exactly.
And how many folks are helping you with your endeavor here?
Yes, we're actually going to take a team picture at the Future in Flight Plaza. So when we first talked, it was just me.
Yeah.
The next year, it was 3 of us. And now I think we'll have about 10 people in the team picture. And it's great. This is not something that I'm building on my own. The community is embracing it, and they are joining. So it's going to be fun.
Well, and again, you obviously enjoy what you do. And,
Yes.
Because you can't, and we do, there is a little age difference here, a little age gap. You're young, I'm old. And, I'm constantly learning more about what our younger organizations are doing in flight training especially, and doing it safely, because have you been involved with any occurrences? You mentioned the Luscombe is unforgiving. It will let you know when it's not happy. And and the way that it lets you know is usually a loss of control. But you are able to teach your students how to control that aircraft and when it starts feeling like it's not right, what control inputs to put in.
Well, for us, the most important, actually, the foundation of our product is creating a safe space where people can be honest at identifying the recommended changes that need to take place, so that we can implement those changes into preparing for the next flight and having this safe space not only between your instructor to student, but student to student, and instructor to instructor, and everybody together. So that's a non-negotiable. That's the baseline of that you may not see in the system, but it's part of the material properties of the system.
Sure.
It must.
So you encourage your students to talk to each other.
Absolutely. I tell them, bring other people in.
Well, I'm going to pull the app up when we finish up our interview here. But Adriana, thank you so much for sharing your time with us and what your endeavors are pulling up with FlyORKA.
Thanks for inviting me. It's very humbling.
Thank you. It's very humbling, Helen.
All these guys, yes?
That's great.
Yes.
That's great. And thank you so much. And this has been Coleman, and we're going to go out on the flight line here. I believe the air show is just about ready to start. And I'm sure Adriana, we're going to get her out here and get her sunburn out here in the Florida heat. Thank you so much for joining us. We'll see you next interview.